This first trend is enabling animators, game designers, and visual effects artists to create ultra-realistic scenes.
Yes, we're talking about 3D creation tools like Unreal Engine 5 and Blender, and a few recently released features that have taken their capabilities to the next level.
Just take a look at this behind-the-scenes video, which cuts between a green screen and the finished film to show how hyper-realistic street scenes and cityscapes can be achieved using Unreal Engine's real-time rendering feature. And then there's this futuristic landscape, which was created using Blender and is so immersive it looks as if you could walk straight into it.
With these kinds of tools becoming more widely available, we expect to see 3D to continue grow in popularity, with tutorials and how-to videos showing just what can be achieved with this show-stopping software. Today's video creators have access to cutting-edge technology, but that hasn't stopped them from being inspired by retro design styles.
Just look at the trailer for recent movie release Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. From punk-style collages to comic book-style dots, this fast-paced film leads the way with glitches, scanlines, chromatic aberrations, and neon flashes, all of which combine to produce a disruptive effect.
And this aesthetic shows no signs of slowing down,
with more and more video games and animated series tackling the trend, including Arcane, in which the action is overlaid with hand-drawn scrolls and scribbles and gritty, distorted effects.
Oh, and by the way, we've handcrafted a collection of templates that are tailored to each trend, so you can replicate each of the effects we'll cover in this video, and of course, Arcane transitions are included. This motion graphics trend is all about experimenting with new ways to mix media, thanks to tools that make it easier than ever to combine 2D and 3D.
As a result, designers are blurring the lines between real life and fantasy worlds, often merging a polished 3D style with a handcrafted 2D aesthetic, like this charming video project, which uses the trend to explore abstract concepts like emotions in a visually engaging and relatable way. Big brands are also getting in on the act. Nike celebrated its 50th birthday with a college-style short that combines video footage with sketches, newspaper cuttings, and photos. The result is a compelling mixed media look that makes the viewer feel like they're moving through the pages of a scrapbook.
This trend embraces a mishmash of approaches, so there are no limits to how you can incorporate it into your work.
For example, we're seeing 3D tools used in the early stages of animation to help create a realistic style, before introducing completely different techniques to create something that jumps off the screen.
Before moving on to our next trend, please don't forget to leave us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Illustration and animation have always been a popular pairing. Take the traditional frame-by-frame approach that was once used to create films for Disney. And today, various software tools are making this old-school technique even more accessible for both newbie and experienced illustrators and animators.
Illustrative animation is character-driven and narrative-based, giving us an opportunity to tell stories. They can be short and snappy, like Melbourne-based Belle Giles' bubblegum chewing cactus, or they can be playful and poetic, like Loretta Isaac's work, where dreamy sequences and lyric videos burst with quirky personality.
In fact, they can communicate anything the animator wants,
even transcending the boundaries of kids' cartoons to tackle more grown-up themes. In addition to technology and traditional techniques coming together, we're also seeing an increasingly analog approach to creativity, perhaps as a contrast to the instant results of generative AI. Take the painstaking process followed by betheme Pinella, who paints directly onto each frame of a piece of footage.
But you don't have to follow the same laborious process. Actually, you can streamline your workflow with Envato Elements. With millions of creative assets, Envato Elements allows you to create stunning videos in no time. And if you sign up through the link in the description below, you'll unlock a 70% discount on your first month. With this being said, let's get back to the trends.
Welcome to a terrifically tactile trend that's taking over social media. This trend involves using 3D rendering to create objects that look like they are being inflated, squished, and squeezed. Basically, moving in a way you might not expect. Take a look at this example, where everyday items are manipulated in weird and wonderful ways. Abstract shapes get covered in realistic-looking textures and materials, and words and letters take on a life of their own. These eye-popping colors are hard to miss, but take a look at this more muted approach to the same trend from Liam Henderson. Against his large-scale setting, a table and a chair seemingly melt from solid to liquid in seconds. While in another video, a towering robotic arm releases a mass of bouncy blue balls. From shaded surfaces to sinking sunglasses, his motion graphics show just what's possible with this reach out and touch it trend. Today's motion graphics designers have access to more amazing tools and software than ever before.
And many are using this to achieve less.
By this, we mean they're adding in plenty of room to breathe, increasing the contrast and giving the viewer the chance to really focus on what's happening.
This trend can incorporate other influences as well, like the squishy and textured objects we see creeping, crawling, and combining here. But the overall idea is to do away with any distractions.
Experimental minimalism is dedicated to detail, meaning this trend has a range of different uses. Take this work by Madrid-based creative studio Kutuko, which uses a minimal color palette and simple shapes to communicate the properties of a new sportswear brand. There aren't hundreds of elements competing for our attention, just mesmerizing transitions between the slow-moving, soothing animations. Earlier, we talked about viewers feeling like they can step into a scene, and this trend takes the desire to dive into stunning surroundings one step further. Immersive experiences are becoming increasingly popular, as a marketing tool, a form of entertainment, and a way of experiencing art. Just like this installation that appeared at the Asia Culture Center in South Korea, which saw visitors walk around video exhibition halls and be dwarfed by dynamic landscapes, swirling brushstrokes, and moving paintings.
The idea is to surround people with sensations that engage all their senses.
And we see this trend playing out again at Montreal's Place des Arts. Here, a luminous and kinetic installation plays with the idea of gravity as visitors enter a life-size laboratory.
Everyone's talking about artificial intelligence,
especially generative AI, and its capacity to create images and videos in seconds.
And while video editors and motion graphics artists will have different ideas on how they want to use AI-powered tools in their work, it's always interesting to see what's possible.
Embracing the leaning into AI trend, New York animator Katie Thorne posted this video to Instagram, in which she experiments with camera movements and rendering image sequences. The result is an animated mishmash of children's toys that morphs and moves around the screen. It's weird and wonderful, and it's a great example of how AI is being used to experiment and explore.
And that concludes our Experts 2024 Motion Graphics Trend Predictions. If you're keen to learn more, here's an interview we did with motion artist genius Ben Marriott. And if you want to stay up to date with all the latest creative trends, here's a playlist containing all our videos. See you later!